Whenever the PCM detects a code, it also stores freeze frame data. Here is the freeze frame data for P300 stored on the car you just saw. It happened at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. We were not driving the vehicle. Our engine load was 5%. We're going to talk more about that engine load in a little while. It's calculated from things like mass, airflow, fuel trim, throttle position, and engine RPM. For this vehicle to be tested again for this code, it's going to have to be in the same operating can tell us. Now, we're not saying it has to be 73 degrees, but it has to have RPM with 375 RPM of 950, and the engine load must be the same, which by and large means it's going to have to be close to 73 degrees before it retests this for a second time or a third time in order to turn off the mill light. We must have 3 good tests passed. Here's a different vehicle. We're running 743 degrees RPM, 165 degrees. Engine load now is 3%. That 3% engine load is not similar conditions to the one we just saw. We will not give that particular failure an update and pass it. Remember, all of this information changes. And misfires are one of those things where you're going to need similar operating conditions. You can see that this is quite a bit different. Even though we're setting it idle, even though we have 0 throttle opening, the numbers are different because we've warmed the engine up. Now the technicians ask us, why was it so hard to get this check engine light to go out? We got the car in, we drove it 3 or 4 times, we fixed it. We couldn't get the light to go out, so we had to clear codes. Well, once we start driving the car and the engine warms up like it is here, we get down to a much lower calculated engine load than we had at 73 degrees. So 4 or 5 trips at 165, 180, 190 is not going to be similar conditions because of the difference in engine load. That confuses some people. They thought all they needed was both cars to run at idle and it should be similar conditions. But the thing everybody forgets is the calculated engine load. So don't let this confuse you just because these monitors don't run at exactly the minute you think they should run. You really need to study what causes all this.